In the end, Hestia, who had been behaving strangely all this time, said something like, "So, you two, take your time dash," and hurriedly left. It seems that she, the main god, wants to push all the problems on Lili. This useless goddess is really unforgivable. Gathering information about the enemy without sleep. For the responsible person, this behavior is correct. Thank you for the compliment. Finn looked at Lili, whose eyes were tired and stacked, and smiled slightly. Lili, who still didn't understand the situation, finally nodded, but it's not necessary. What? Finn threw the parchment in one hand towards the sky, causing his brown pupils to dilate. I will provide you with information on various aspects. The tactics that Freya Familia are good at and the details of the magic and skills they master will all be provided to you. From those who have fought them countless times, adventurers from first level. This time, Lili actually held her breath. The vision of those who really fought. This is completely different from vague rumors and can become an absolute weapon. And that's the opinion of a first-tier adventurer, coupled with those keen eyes, should be worth more than mere facts. After all, Loki Familia was supposed to be researching and investigating the longtime enemy, the Freya Familia. Perhaps, just relying on Lili and the current cards of others can construct a countermeasure. I will turn you into a unique commander. Become the supreme commander who can lead the faction and coalition forces. Those powerful words of courage strongly impacted his heart. A desire to salivate and run, however, suddenly. Lili pressed him with a spirit of steel and asked the same clan in front of her. May I ask what your plan is? You actually offered to help. Oh, do you need me to explain? Lili tried her best to maintain her rationality, while Finn narrowed his eyes, as if looking at his favorite spot. At the same time, he gave a slightly exaggerated shrug. Freya's family. Or the goddess Freya violated a taboo. She trampled on the dignity of the underworld and distorted us using the most cruel means in a sense. This matter should have been condemned. While the guild doesn't lose anything by saying what it says, the unpleasant feeling will remain. For those of you who look up to Bel Cranel, that rage is even stronger. I was wrong, wasn't I? Actually, I am also very angry. Finn was right. And there are no lies in his words. What the guild forbids is participation in war games. So I'll lend you my wisdom until the moment before the battle begins. Forget it, let's make it clearer. I hope you can repay Goddess Freya. The others taught us a hard lesson. Finally, Finn concluded with a vague sense of childish mischief. He should have spoken frankly about his uprightness and the genuine, a real thought trait. The brave men of the clan extended a helping hand, both visually and emotionally. However, Lili couldn't make a decision right away. Among family members, it is impossible for only one party to benefit. Although he is not the faction of the god of deceit, the Hermes family, but it is common sense to be vigilant when encountering good things. If she accepted this hand, the other party would ask for some kind of price. This is exactly what must be handed over to the main god Hestia, should she judge this. Seeing the figure of his compatriots who always hesitate as family officials, Finn said. 70 points. With a wry smile, he said in a low voice. Lilaruka Arti. Your prudent gesture is commendable. However, what you must do now is not to probe my intentions. To be a bravo in a desperate battle where everyone wants to give up, you must use everything. Lili's heartbeat turned especially violent upon hearing this somewhat cruel statement. At least if I were in her shoes, I would. Even if it means stealing countless pieces of information from the hero who is known as the clan. You and Bel Cranel, you all have a very shy side. This is not to belittle you. Because shyness can also be a virtue. But right now, the thing you fear the most must be. Important people should stay away from you. That last sentence was the last straw. Lili released her tightly clenched fist and held her hand out to Finn. I'm sorry for letting you see Lili's inappropriate appearance. Hee, what else? Please, Lord Finn. Please lend Lili your wisdom. Finn squeezed his hand back holding Lili's hand. She responded to her decision. The young goddess who spied this scene through the crack of the door also clenched her fists as she yelled, "Okay." Since then, Hestia Familia has formed an alliance with Hero. But, this. Lili, there's not much we can give back. Either I hope you don't expect rewards from the start. Or I hope you show mercy. You don't need to be careful. As I said just now, as long as I can pay back to Otter and the others, my face and cheap reserve can be considered saved, because I was afraid of debts. As for Lili, who has a weak attitude, Finn said with a wry smile. Besides, you're very popular. Besides me, there must be a lot of people willing to help, right? In another place. Why aren't you allowed to fight Argo-kun and the others? Tiona's booming voice echoed around. Loki Familia, base, Twilight Pavilion. In one of the rooms, the Amazon screamed with her hands up. So many factions want to fight against Freya's family. Why can't we? How many times have I explained this? This is a strict guild order. It's almost like a mandatory mission. You understand this? It was Gareth the dwarf who tried to calm her down. Even this veteran warrior, dealing with Tiona, who can be described as a bare child, is now like a father who is tired of dealing. No matter how much he reasoned to convince the other party, Tiona kept screaming, "I don't understand," and she stamped her feet like a child. I also want to help Argo-kun and the others. I really want to help them, and make up for what I said to him earlier. No. Be honest. Why? So petty. Seeing the girls making a scene in the hallway, the expression on Gareth's face seemed to say he was tired of even sighing. Really, you are still the children of the faction. If you are not obedient, will you be stuck in the ground like Bert? Gareth's face and thick arms were covered in scars. The dissatisfaction of the werewolf Bert, or Beth, exploded. He had said before that he would kick the Freya Familia to death in the wargame, but he didn't listen to any persuasion, even made a move, so Gareth subdued him relying on his strength. But even so, of course the werewolf wouldn't be convinced. He uttered a sentence of, "Damn it," went to the dungeon, and now he's making noise inside. If you can participate in the war game by defeating Gareth, then I will fight. At Gareth's speech, Tiona scratched her hair vigorously with both hands, and finally danced a strange dance, looking at the ceiling, and turning in circles. Her twin sister interjected as if she couldn't take it anymore. "Gareth, this is the captain's order, so I will obey, but I didn't accept it." Raoul and the others simply didn't say anything, but they should have the same idea in their hearts. Although only Bel Cranel and the Hestia Familia have been tampered with, it was the memory that was tampered with after all. Hearing Tiona's words as he leaned against the bench, Gareth closed his eyes. The old man actually thought the same thing, just when that heartfelt phrase was about to slip out of the corner of his mouth. Don't be like that. Are you sure this isn't Gareth's responsibility? Riveria. Tiona too, stop making trouble. The high elf Riveria appeared in the living room, her long emerald hair swaying slightly with her movements. As the faction's deputy head, after persuading the sisters, she lowered her eyes again. If you have an opinion, you should at least tell me. I'll listen to all your complaints. Riveria. Her attitude made Tiona and Tioni raise their heads. The elves then walked towards the dwarves. I'm sorry, Gareth, it's all my fault. How can you be selfish? The other party revealed the coordinates of the ice garden, and the old people can't just sit back and watch. The two lowered their voices. It was about the agreement between Finn and Royman, more precisely, the price that could not be ignored. Riverial Joe's Alf must not let this information slip. This matter cannot be clarified for Tiona and the others yet, but even if it is clarified, Gareth and the others must use superficial things to convince them. Come on, Tioni. Tiona, where are you going? By Argokuin's side. Tiona ran out and answered Riveria's question out loud. Elder sister chased her helplessly. At this time she turned her head again and stuck out her tongue. Even though I can't participate in the war games, I want to be Mr. Argo. Tiona ran out of the hall. Coincidentally, she came to the same conclusion as Finn. Loci familia, not participating in the war. In other words, the whole family will help, right? Tsubaki Kabrand asked in the huge forging field. In the northeast of the city, the Warka Red House is in the industrial zone. The base of the Hephaestus family is different from the branches of Adventurers Avenue and the Tower of Babel. The half-breed dwarf who just got a new magic sword wiped the big sweat with her arm and looked at the goddess herself. That's right. Now that Loki and the others have determined that they cannot participate in war games, only we will provide full support for Hestia and the others. Hephaestus looked around the circle and answered the leader with a bland expression, final confirmation. The sound of hammers sounded one after another. The furnace also seems to be running at full speed, spewing deadly heat into the surroundings. One of the team members handed over the newly forged magic sword with apprehension. The forge god looked at the blade and mercilessly said, "No. Do it again." He felt the voice of the main god that was stricter than usual, a voice used for great battles. The level of sophistication required for weaponry, even the artisan blacksmith was trembling, while Tsubaki wore a strange smile, as if he wanted to lift the corners of his mouth but couldn't. The war with Freya's family. I'm very interested to know if my weapons and equipment can work against them, but my body still shakes. I wasn't shaking with emotion.